Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something maybe a little different. We're actually stepping back in time, way back. We're opening up an ancient text to pull out some really powerful principles, things that still resonate today, profoundly, I think. Our focus is on this, well, surprisingly bold voice from a very old conversation, someone who really challenges our ideas about, where wisdom comes from, who gets to speak it.
That's right. And our mission here really is to uncover some of those insights. How is understanding really acquired? Why is patience not just a nice idea, but maybe even strategic? And when is it just critical to speak up?
Yeah.
With integrity, all with the aim of hopefully deepening our own spiritual grounding, strengthening our faith walk today.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit. Picture this. Job, right? He suffered incredibly. And he's been in this intense debate with three older friends, supposedly wiser friends. They've kind of run out of steam, argument-wise. And Job, well, he's still defending himself, still justifying his position. The whole thing feels stuck.
Yeah, it's a stalemate.
Exactly. But then just when it seems like nothing more can be said, this new voice emerges. Younger guy. Cuts right through the tension. His name's Elihu. Now, for anyone maybe not super familiar with Job, Elihu showing up is significant. He wasn't one of the original three friends. His part of the conversation feels different, almost pivotal. And like you said, he's younger. He'd been holding back respectfully.
Just listening, patiently waiting for the elders to finish.
Right. He observed everything first.
And what's really interesting is his emotion. The text says his wrath was kindled. But it's not like petty anger. It seems to be this righteous indignation. Two-sided, really. He's upset with Job because Job's so focused on justifying himself that he seems to be maybe unintentionally questioning God's justice.
Okay, makes sense.
And then he's also upset with the three friends because they condemned Job, but without giving any solid, wise answers. They were kind of misrepresenting God in the process. So it's not about him. It's about defending truth, defending a right understanding of God.
So he's young, he's waited, listened carefully, and now he's practically bursting at the seams to speak. And what he says, it feels pretty revolutionary for its time. He actually starts by admitting, I said, days should speak and multitude of years should teach wisdom. He initially bought into that idea, that age equals wisdom automatically.
Wow. That was the assumption, the cultural norm.
But then he has this light bulb moment, this realization that just flips that whole idea on its head.
Yeah, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Elihu basically declares that true understanding, divine insight, it doesn't just come automatically with age or experience. Instead, he says, and this is powerful, there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding.
Wow.
And he goes on, great men are not always wise, neither do the age understand judgment. This wasn't just a slightly different angle. It was a total paradigm shift. He's saying real wisdom is a gift from God through his spirit. It's not just about how long you've lived or what title you hold.
That completely reframes where insight comes from. We're often taught, even today, that experience and age are the primary sources of wisdom. Is Elihu saying experience doesn't matter at all, or is it more nuanced?
I think it's definitely nuanced. He's not dismissing experience outright. How could he? But he's saying it's not the ultimate source, not the only source. The spirit within, that divine spark, that inspiration that's the true wellspring. And because he believes this so strongly, he feels this intense compulsion to speak. He says he's full of matter, constrained by the spirit inside, like he's going to burst like new bottles if he doesn't let it out.
Wow, that's some pressure.
Yeah. And he makes it clear, he's not going to flatter anyone, no BS, no catering to egos. He's going to speak truth because he reveres God, not because he fears what people think. It's about integrity, a divine mandate almost.
Okay, so let's connect this ancient wisdom.
Yeah.
How does it speak to us now in our modern world? What are the principles here that can, deepen our own walk, strengthen our trust in God?
Oh, absolutely. There are several, I think. First, Elihu's story is a huge reminder. Don't underestimate younger voices, or maybe just unexpected voices. We live in a world that often defaults to credentials, age, status. But Elihu blows that up. It forces us to ask, where does real insight come from in our teams, our churches, our families?
Good question.
It encourages us to be more open, more humble maybe, to listen actively to people we might otherwise dismiss. God can speak through anyone.
That's crucial. And it ties into the second point, right? We talked about embracing different voices, but Elihu himself, he waited.
He modeled patience before he spoke. How does that play out, that balance? It's such a critical balance. His patience is a powerful model, not just for spiritual stuff,
right,
but for any communication. Think about our culture now. quick reactions, hot takes.
Right. Tweet first, think later.
Exactly. Imagine if we actually practiced more patient listening first. In meetings, at home, online. Really trying to understand before jumping in. That discipline of waiting, processing, maybe even praying. It's vital for discerning the right timing, the right words. It's an act of obedience, in a way.
Okay, patience is key. But there's another side to Elihu, isn't there? He did speak up boldly. So there's a point where silence isn't the answer.
Precisely. Patience is vital, yes. But Elihu shows us that sometimes staying silent is actually harmful, especially when truth or justice is being compromised. God might actually call you to speak up, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it pushes against the status quo. And obeying that call, stepping out with that conviction, that can seriously strengthen your faith. You learn to trust that God equips you when he calls you.
That requires courage.
It does. And fourth, Elihu hammers home that true wisdom comes from God. Not status, not degrees, not just life experience alone. Whether you're leading something, raising kids, navigating conflict, real wisdom comes from seeking God, from prayer, discernment. The Holy Spirit is ultimately our source of clarity, which should deepen our reliance on God for everything.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off us having to have all the answers based on our own smarts or age.
Totally. And finally, his refusal to flatter anyone. That teaches the value of honest, respectful feedback. He wouldn't use fancy titles or just tell people what they wanted to hear. We need that in our lives, right? People willing to challenge us with love, with integrity. Speaking truth, even when it's hard, is an act of integrity. It's obedience to truth itself, not just trying to please people.
Okay, so summing this up for us today, Elihu's message, even from millennia ago, is still incredibly relevant. It's this powerful reminder. Wisdom isn't confined by age or status. It's a gift. A gift from God, often revealed when we practice patience, seek discernment, and find the courage to speak truth with conviction.
Absolutely. And taking these insights to heart can genuinely impact our daily lives. It encourages a deeper walk, more integrity, more reliance on God as the actual source of understanding. It reminds us that, really, God can use anyone, at any time, if they're rooted in him and his truth.
So here's something to think about as we close. A question for you, really stemming from Elihu's story. Have you ever held back from speaking up, maybe sharing an insight, a concern, a word of encouragement because you felt too young or too new or just unqualified? What might change in your life and your impact if you truly believed deep down that wisdom comes from God, not just from credentials?